In 1997, a little-known preacher named Juanita Bynum stepped onto the stage at Bishop T.D. Jakes' Woman Thou Art Loosed conference. What happened next would change the course of her life. She delivered a sermon titled "No More Sheets," a message so raw and electrifying that 17,000 people rose to their feet, and its impact rippled through the Christian world. But just 5 years later, in 2002, Bynum vanished from Jakes' platform. She no longer appeared at the conference that had made her a household name, and for nearly 2 decades, no one fully understood why. What caused the fracture between two of the most influential ministries of their era? And why did reconciliation finally come after 20 years of silence? To understand their journey, you have to start with hers. Born the 16th of January 1959, in Chicago, Juanita Bynum was raised in a deeply religious family. Her father served as an elder at St. Luke Church of God in Christ, and church life shaped her childhood. Naturally charismatic, she even starred in her school's production of My Fair Lady, attracting interest from television agents. Offers her mother declined, insisting her daughter follow God's voice instead. She attended Saints Academy, a Church of God in Christ high school in Mississippi, graduating second in her class and beginning to preach. But adulthood brought hardship. At 21, she entered a marriage she later admitted was driven by physical attraction rather than spiritual grounding. The marriage ended in 1985, and its collapse sent her life spiraling. The years that followed were some of her darkest. Bynum battled anorexia, fell into financial ruin, relied on welfare, and stood in food stamp lines wearing a $2 coat in the Chicago winter. She suffered a nervous breakdown, was institutionalized, and even attempted suicide. She has spoken candidly about filling her emotional void with unhealthy relationships, same-sex encounters, and drug use, laying bare every painful chapter when sharing her testimony. But change began in 1990. She returned to Chicago, became a hairdresser, and eventually supported herself without assistance. Later she moved to New York, working as a flight attendant for Pan American Airways until the airline shut down in 1991. Friends insisted the closure was God redirecting her back into ministry. By 1996, she was serving full-time at New Greater Bethel Ministries under Pastor John Boyd. That same year, everything shifted. Bishop T.D. Jakes, already rising to prominence with the Woman Thou Art Loosed movement, invited Bynum to attend one of his singles conferences. He knew nothing of her past, he simply felt led to invite her. She attended quietly as a participant, but within 2 years, she would go from sitting in the audience to standing center stage. In 1997, she delivered No More Sheets. She spoke openly, radically about sexuality, promiscuity, and the spiritual consequences of broken relationships. She addressed what many churches avoided, especially concerning women. She described the emotional imprints left by intimacy and the weight of fragmented experiences that many silently carried. When she cried, "No more sheets," thousands felt she was speaking the words they had never been able to say. The reaction was explosive. Women wept. Entire sections stood in ovation. The message spread through tapes and broadcasts across the world. By 1999, she was preaching before more than 50,000 people at Jakes' conference in Atlanta. She became a regular on TBN, founded Morning Glory Ministries, wrote best-selling books, and released gospel albums, one of which went platinum, an extraordinary feat for an independent artist. In only a few years, Juanita Bynum had become one of America's most influential female evangelists. And all of it began on T.D. Jakes' stage. But by 2002, something had gone wrong. That same year, Bynum married Bishop Thomas Weeks III in an extravagant, televised $1 million wedding. Yet she was suddenly missing from the Woman Thou Art Loosed lineup. Rumors circulated disputes over money, disagreements about ministry direction, but the truth that would later emerge was more personal. According to accounts that surfaced over time, Bishop Jakes offered Bynum guidance regarding her ministry and life choices. As a spiritual father, he tried to counsel her, but as her fame skyrocketed, she struggled to receive it. She pulled away. In church culture, such actions weren't merely professional disagreements, they were viewed as stepping outside spiritual covering. Eventually, Jakes made clear that she was no longer part of his platform. At the 2002 conference, he reportedly declared publicly, "Don't call me asking where we're going to minister next." The relationship had broken. Bynum returned to smaller ministry spaces and found herself far from the massive platforms she once occupied. The years following were turbulent. Her marriage to Thomas Weeks, which had begun with grandeur, deteriorated quickly. By 2007, they had separated. Then, In August 2007, an incident shocked the nation. Weeks violently attacked her in a hotel parking lot. He beat, kicked, and choked her, leaving her hospitalized. He was later arrested and charged, eventually pleading guilty. The marriage officially ended in 2008. In the aftermath, Bynum became an outspoken advocate for domestic violence survivors, sharing her story in interviews and on television. She spoke candidly about how her years of emotional self-neglect had led her into destructive patterns. Meanwhile, Weeks's ministry collapsed, and his church was evicted due to debt. Despite her own recovery journey, years passed without reconciliation between Bynum and Jakes. But privately, something began to shift. After enduring profound loss, marital failure, financial struggles, public humiliation, Bynum reflected on her past choices. She recognized that she had rejected wise counsel. She realized she had wounded the spiritual relationship that elevated her. In a profound act of humility, she returned to Bishop Jakes seeking forgiveness, publicly acknowledging her mistakes and taking full responsibility. And he welcomed her back. In 2018, after nearly 20 years, Juanita Bynum returned to the Woman Thou Art Loosed stage. A promotional video announced her participation in the masterclass event, an emotional, full-circle moment. The woman once removed from the platform was now invited home. Their reconciliation proved genuine in 2023, 2024, when Bishop Jakes faced intense public accusations linking him to Sean Diddy Combs. As rumors spread online, Bynum defended him boldly during a New Year's Eve service, urging her congregation not to judge what they did not witness. She declared, "If I get a phone call, I'm running straight to Texas." Her loyalty showed the depth of their restored relationship. So what is the real story behind Juanita Bynum and T.D. Jakes? It is not a tale of betrayal or conspiracy. It is a story of mentorship and misunderstanding, of pride and correction, of distance and restoration. Jakes gave Bynum a platform that transformed her life, and when success blurred her judgment, the relationship suffered. Years later, humility rebuilt what had been broken. Despite setbacks, Bynum's accomplishments remain extraordinary. She has sold millions of books, earned awards, ministered to crowds as large as 750,000, appeared in film and television, recorded platinum gospel music, and opened doors for countless women by speaking on topics once considered taboo in church spaces. She continues to lead internationally as a minister and entrepreneur. Her journey teaches powerful lessons. Honor the people who open doors for you. Pride can destroy what talent alone cannot sustain. There is always a path to restoration when humility leads the way. Loyalty after reconciliation proves genuine change. And ultimately, your greatest pain can become the platform that sets others free. Juanita Bynum's story is not only about success and struggle, it is about redemption. It's about a spiritual daughter who lost her way, and a spiritual father who welcomed her home when she returned. That is the true, untold story.